Today I'm diving into Civilization VII VR for MetaQuest 3 and 3S, which launches tomorrow, April 10th. I should mention that I've put about 20 hours into Civ 6 before trying this out, and I haven't played the flat version of Civ 7 at all. I got to visit the Meta offices in New York to try Civ 7 VR early, so some of what I'll be sharing comes from that experience, combined with my time playing the review build at home. This is honestly pretty exciting because it's not just some port or a stripped down version. This is the full Civilization VII experience rebuilt for virtual reality. Whether you're a Civ veteran wondering if the VR version is worth picking up, or someone who's never played a Civilization game before but wants to try something new on your quest, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through what makes Civ 7 VR so special, how to get started, and give you some tips that the tutorial might gloss over. So grab your war table and let's build an empire. For those who don't know, Civilization is a turn-based strategy game where you guide a civilization from ancient times to the modern era. You'll build cities, research technology, wage wars, and compete against other civilizations for dominance. While the flat version of Civ 7 launched back in February, the VR version comes out tomorrow, April 10th. This marks the first time a major strategy game has been developed for VR from the ground up rather than being ported as an afterthought. It's around 11 gigabytes, which is substantial for a Quest game, but not as massive as some others like Asgard's Wrath at over 25 gigabytes or Batman at 19. I should also mention that Civ can be a hard game to get into initially. There's a lot of systems to understand, but with each playthrough and experimentation, you'll learn a little bit more about how everything works together. Even if you've played Civ before, I highly recommend starting with the recommended settings and turning on the learning how to play option with tutorials to get the hang of playing in VR. In Civilization VII VR, you're standing at a war table with the map laid out before you. There are also special VR spaces like the archives where you can see dioramas of your achievements, and the diplomacy room where you'll negotiate with other leaders face to face. The game also supports mixed reality if you want to place the war table in your actual living room, though I had some issues with that which I'll get into later. When you first start, you'll need to choose your leader, who stays with you the entire game, and select your civilization, which can change through the ages. You'll also pick your starting age, I recommend Antiquity for beginners, and select difficulty and other settings. If you're brand new to Civilization, I recommend setting the difficulty to Scribe or Governor, which are designed for new players. The game speed defaults to online in VR, which is faster than normal and makes sense given the battery limitations of the Quest. The controls might feel a bit weird at first, but quickly become second nature. Your left hand houses what's called the gauntlet, your main menu interface. You can flip your wrist like checking a watch to see your empire stats, and use a trigger or thumbstick to select menu options. Your right hand controls map navigation. Use the thumbstick to pan the map, hold grip while using the thumbstick to zoom it in and out. The trigger selects units, cities, and hexes, while the A button on the right controller opens tooltips for more information. For positioning yourself at the table, hold grip to move yourself around, use the trigger on the blue anchor balls to raise and lower the table, and you can even angle it up or down for a better view. When moving units, select a unit with your trigger, then look for the blue hexes showing where they can move. Choose a destination hex and select actions from your gauntlet menu. When starting a new game, you'll want to found your capital first. Your founder unit can establish your first city, so look for a good spot with resources nearby. Next, build a scout to help you explore the map quickly. Scouts uncover the fog of war as they travel, revealing new resources, other civilizations, and special discoveries. Then start researching basic technology like pottery or animal husbandry, and begin studying civics, which give you social policies and special abilities. You'll also need to choose a government, as different types provide various bonuses to your civilization. The next turn button, which is Y on your left controller, will automatically guide you through any units or decisions that need attention before ending your turn, which is super helpful for not missing anything important. One thing that sets Civ 7 apart from previous games is the age system. Instead of one continuous timeline, the game is divided into 3 distinct periods: the Antiquity Age, the Exploration Age, and the Modern Age. When you transition between ages, you'll actually select a new civilization to represent your empire while keeping the same leader. This lets you adapt your strengths as history progresses. Each age has its own unique civilizations, technologies, civics, units, buildings, and resources. This system works well in VR because it creates natural breakpoints in the game. I should note that it took me about 3 hours to get from the Antiquity Age to the Exploration Age, but I switched from the recommended online speed to standard. The war table is your main interface with the game. One thing to know is that you'll only see detailed unit models when zoomed in close. There's a black screen when switching zoom levels, which can be jarring, and it takes a couple seconds to render. This becomes more annoying when you get quicker at making turns in the game. Remember to use tooltips to get more info about anything you're not sure about. One issue I found is that sometimes I would misclick when trying to use the tooltip for a research item and would end up selecting it instead. This was annoying and feels like the tooltip button's either too sensitive or not sensitive enough. It's practically on the card itself, so hopefully this gets fixed or the radius for this button's made bigger. Legacy paths are objectives that you can complete in each age. They come in 4 flavors: culture, military, science, and economic. Completing milestones along these paths gives you attribute points for your leader, making them stronger. Mixed reality lets you place the war table in your real environment, which sounds amazing but has some limitations. It has the ability to automatically snap to tables in your room, but you can only make the table bigger or smaller. You cannot raise the height of the table or angle it in mixed reality mode like you can in full VR. Moving the war table around is also a bit finicky as it kind of spasms about versus being able to be placed anywhere smoothly. The visual quality also drops slightly in mixed reality mode, and I noticed some performance hits. I found a workaround sort of by placing a bar stool and labeling as a table in the quest room setup, which gave me a little bit more flexibility with placement, but still it's not perfect. I ran into a few other issues during my playtime. Sometimes units wouldn't move even when they clearly could, which I fixed by going into the menu and then back into the game. Resource transfers to cities also couldn't be clicked in the same way, and the game would crash when unlocking historical displays for mixed reality mode. The loading screens are kind of long in general, but luckily there's only one when you first load into the game, with no more throughout your session. However, when you crash or have to go back to the menu and back into the game to fix a bug, it feels like an annoying waste of time. Luckily, the game autosaves often, but you can also do manual saves whenever you want. I should mention that while some other creators have reported pretty bad performance issues in both mixed reality and VR modes, my personal experience has been much smoother. I did notice some performance hits in mixed reality, as well as lower quality graphics of the war table there, and some lag during initial loading into my game save, but otherwise my experience in VR has been smooth and quite playable. Your mileage may vary, and hopefully this is just some sort of pre-launch issue or bug. After spending about 4.5 hours in the game at the time of this recording, reaching the exploration age in about 3 hours, again with standard time set as my speed versus online, which is the quickest, here's my take. I really enjoyed having the full Civ 7 experience in VR. That classic one more turn addiction is definitely there. I found myself saying just one more over and over. Seeing your units up close in battle is cool and gives a new perspective on conflicts, and the automatic saving protects your progression in case of crashes or battery issues. On the downside, the mixed reality mode needs work. There's an occasional bugs and crashes, and the black screen while changing zoom levels kind of breaks my immersion a little bit, and loading times can be lengthy, especially after a crash. While I haven't tried multiplayer yet, the game supports up to 4 players with MetaQuest 3 or 3S headsets. There's no crossplay with PC or console though, and the developers have confirmed there's no plans for DLC or post-launch content. For multiplayer games, they recommend using Antiquity Age with dynamic turn timer, online game speed, small map size, and no age transitions. These settings should give you a 1 to 2 hour multiplayer session that's perfect for VR. Is Civilization VII VR better than playing on a PC or console? Probably not. But it's definitely a fresh way to experience one of gaming's finest strategy franchises. If you're a Civ fan looking for a new way to play, or a Quest owner curious about strategy games, I think it's worth checking out. It definitely feels like a full game, not a stripped down experience, and seeing everything from the war table perspective adds something special to the gameplay. Let me know in the comments if you've ever played any of the Civ games before, and what you think of the new VR version. If you're planning on picking it up, I will have a 10% off link in the description somewhere, and feel free to drop any question that you might have in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer. As always, keep on creating and never lose that drive to improve, and remember, just one more turn.